Hello, welcome to the Seniors Serving Seniors, the BlueBook podcast, the place for seniors from around the Capital Regional District to learn more about the community and its members. My name is Vicki Pilot. Today we will be talking about Voices in Motion, making our community dementia friendly. This is a two-part podcast. In this first one, we are joined by Dr. Debra Sheets and Erica Phare-Berg. Dr. Sheets is an affiliate of the Institute on Aging and Lifelong Health and a professor in the School of Nursing at the University of Victoria. Her research focuses on gerontology, geriatric nursing, in particular dementia, caregiving, and technology to support healthy aging, the humanities, and arts in aging. Erica Phare-Berg is the artistic director and conductor of Voices in Motion. She has been directing choirs for over 30 years and arranges much of the music sung by the Voices in Motion choirs. Erica is also a published arranger with Cypress Choral Music and is in demand as an educator, guest conductor, and choral condition. Now let's go meet our guests.
Well, Voices in Motion is an intergenerational choir for people with dementia, their caregivers, students, and friends as well. And the friends, often it's people that have had family members who've maybe passed away of complications from Alzheimer's or from dementia, or they have some lived experience, so they have some connection, or they want to learn about it. I conduct the choir, yes. So I choose the music, but I work closely with the executive director is actually my husband, who started as a backbencher in the choir just to support me, but he's just sees the value of it for the folks that are singing in the choir, and we've been amazed at the results, and you'll hear that from the researchers. But I was privileged to be asked by one of the researchers, Dr. Mary Kennedy, to conduct the choir. And initially it was sort of a one-term pilot, but it's continued and grown. And we started as one choir, and then the next fall we went in fall 2019, we went to 3 choirs, which is 2 in the community and 1 in long-term care. And then the subsequent year we went to 6 choirs, so 3 in long-term care and 3 in the community. And then COVID hit. So we had to transition to an online choir. And I was amazed at how well our folks did. I mean, we lost a few along the way, but people are coming back now that it's an in-person. We're going to be able to sing in person in the fall. And it looks like we're going to have a total of 5 choirs this fall. And we're going to keep our online one because we had a lot of people join us during COVID from other cities and even parts of the U.S. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, we even had somebody sing with us from France.
Okay, so Erica, do you have a call to action for the community, or is Voices in Motion accepting more members? Are you looking for donations? What else can we do to support?
Yes, well, certainly. I mean, we're looking for singers who are interested in the whole concept of a dementia-friendly society, and or people that are early to middle on have early to middle on dementia. We are absolutely looking for funding. Always, it's a nonprofit organization now, but we're still linked with research at UVic with Dr. Sheets and Dr. McDonald. So we're going to be working, and Dr. Smith as well, Andre Smith. So we're always looking for funds to help with that and to also keep our operating costs as well.
And do you have other partners?
The Alzheimer's Society of BC has been wonderful, and supportive of us as well. If you mean collaborate financially, we've been collaborating with UVic, for sure. That was our initial relationship, was that UVic set up the choir, and this past year we transitioned to a nonprofit. But we're always looking to partner with different organizations and corporate sponsors as well. So we're grateful to our corporate sponsors.
And I would add to that we partner with Saanich Parks and Rec. They help provide places for us to do our rehearsals, and St. Andrews High School and Pacific Christian have partnered with us as well, bringing in the high school students who volunteer and bring this wonderful intergenerational component. The students really benefit because they They learn empathy. They learn about dementia and that people may not remember what they had for breakfast, but that they have lots of memories they can tap into, and they can participate as equal partners in the choir in a way that um, is wonderful. The students develop friendships and relationships, and a number of our students who started in 2018 are now at the University of Victoria and are thinking about working with older adults because they've enjoyed the relationships they've developed so much. I had the idea for the choir because a colleague of mine had started a similar choir in Minneapolis. I just love the idea of bringing together caregivers and people with dementia to have fun rather than focusing on the disease and the losses and limitations, but instead looking at the possibilities, even with dementia, to participate, to have fun, to be creative, to collaborate. The thing that made our choir quite different is that we were able to get some research funding and really look at the impact of the choir on people's quality of life and on their well-being. And that we also brought in this intergenerational component, which I think I've had experience with intergenerational programs before. And I just think that it's so important for young people to interact with older adults, to learn how to communicate, and to find shared common interests. It helps keep dementia from being something where people are excluded. And people with dementia and their caregivers are at a higher risk of having loneliness, of feeling the stigma of dementia. And so these are things that make dementia visible within the community as well. And having a valued program where we have someone like Erica, who's a professional choir director. It isn't a sing-along. It isn't. It's about learning new things and showing that even with dementia, you can learn songs in different languages. You can perform with your hands and learn different movements. And when people come to the concerts that we had before COVID, they were just amazed because they really often couldn't tell who had dementia, or they saw their grandparent in a new way, someone that could really participate and be involved in something that mattered, that was purposeful. I found it wonderful that people got the idea so quickly, especially when I said it would be a more professional choir, not a sing-along, and that my colleagues at UVic were immediately interested in the idea and supportive. And I think doing the research, there have been a number of choirs because people hear the idea and they think, oh yeah, this has to happen. So there's probably 60 choirs in the United States at this point, and there's about 7 here in Canada.
Oh, that's great.
Intergenerational choir in London has been around for a while. It's not, it allows caregivers to participate, but it doesn't require it, whereas we require caregivers to participate.
Now, do you have to be able to carry a tune?
No,
Well,
you don't. You don't. In fact, if I'm going to just, it's interesting. If I had $1 for every person that came to me and said, my grade 1 teacher told me I can't sing, I'd be wealthy. And it's amazing. Just about every email, I can almost tell you, I'm going to get an email saying, yeah, but I don't sing, or my caregiver doesn't sing, or, and it's honestly, they surprise themselves. And, we did a virtual choir piece called Try a Little Kindness. And I asked the editor, I said to him, did you do any pitch correction, like tuning correction? He goes, nope. That's all what they sound like online. And I thought, that's great. Even not together on stage, they sound great. So it's, absolutely. It's like a muscle that can be worked and developed. And we do work toward that. So vocal technique and, warm-ups are a big part of the rehearsal also for the singers. And physical connecting kinesthetically with, physically and just developing their voice and their ear, as well as learning new songs. And I think what's been interesting and wonderful is that, we often think that if a person has dementia, they can't really develop new memories. Right. But what's been really cool is that they have been developing. They've learned new songs and they've learned things in languages.
Yeah, people tap into old memories and they also are able to develop new synapses. And then also being part of a caring community where you can't do anything wrong, people don't feel stressed, and our brains function better when we don't feel stressed. Right. So we can learn things. We can just focus on what we're doing instead of feeling like, oh my God, I can't remember that word or something. It's like, it's all fine. You can't do anything wrong in our group. Right. But I think people often are surprised at how good they sound contributing. And that's just huge. When you feel kind of marginalized and like you can't contribute anymore, to be able to create something together and to be part of a caring community just means so much to them. Some of our research has shown that people's cognition, you would expect dementia is going to decrease cognition over time, that people are going to have more memory problems, and we certainly can't stop the disease process. But what we're finding is that the decline among our participants is about half of what you would expect annually compared to national samples. And that's huge because it's non-pharmacological. It's a low-cost intervention. Mm-hmm. It has no bad side effects or anything. It's about bringing people into a community and giving them something that matters. Yeah, having fun, laughing, relaxing. The other thing that we found is that caregivers have less stress, less depression, and people living with dementia report higher quality of life and less depression as well. So those are big things that don't cost a whole lot. But the arts typically haven't had, I think, a lot of support from government, and yet pharmaceuticals are covered, right? So we are trying to work towards a model where it's called social prescribing, and it's been used in England. Mm-hmm. But people, when they're diagnosed with dementia, would go to a physician, and instead of just prescribing a medication, you'd also get a prescription to maybe go to the Voices in Motion choir and try it for a few times and see if you like that. Or Minds in Motion, which is an exercise program. People need to have choices, and they need to be informed about the programs that are out there. And there aren't very many right now, unfortunately. There are very few programs, even in Victoria, the aging capital of Canada, that are inclusive of people with dementia. Voices in Motion was one of the first programs that really was designed to be inclusive.
Why do you think there's not that many programs in especially Victoria, where like you said, the senior population is so high?
Yeah, I think it's a valuing issue. I mean, we've seen that the arts programs in schools are the first ones to get cut, right? So young and old, we don't see arts programs as being that valuable. And when people go to programs like adult daycare, it's more about filling time. They don't pay for a professional to come in and do something meaningful, like lead a real choir. They have things have to be valued. Things have to somehow be called therapy, right? So we have art therapy, we have music therapy.
Right.
Why not just learn how to do art or to sing or to create, to have a band and play music together and to have support for those kinds of programs? I think it's partly that we have this very medical model of approaching things as opposed to a social model. I think our next big thing is to show the economic impact of the choir, because honestly, I'm sure that we're helping caregivers not get completely stressed out. We're probably delaying institutionalization, or at least moving to higher levels of care. We're helping people to function better in the community.
There are a number of choirs. There are a number of choirs in British Columbia. This is I think it's probably the biggest one in British Columbia, but there are other choirs. There's a group called the New Dimensions in Vancouver. There is the Noteworthy Singers also in Vancouver. And I'm just trying to think if there are any others. Deborah, are there any others?
With COVID, Noteworthy is no longer together. I'm not sure about New Dimensions, and New Dimensions isn't intergenerational, and it's led by a music therapist.
Right.
So it's within an adult daycare setting, I believe. Mm-hmm. There is a choir up in Salmon Arm, and I'm not sure what's happened with them. So there are a few of them, and they have different models. We really think our choir could be replicated in other communities. Yeah. And Erica's been working on a train the trainer program so that hopefully we can help people understand how to do this.
Yeah,
it's a training program that covers both the online training. If people have a remote situation where they're bringing people together, like during COVID, or in a remote situation where they need to be online, but also in person. So it covers both those things.
So if people want to get involved with this, can you give contact information and also the schedule, or do they just go to the website and check it out?
They can go to the website and email info@voicesinmotionchoirs.org. The website is voicesinmotionchoirs.org. And we're going to be updating information about this fall program, which is, we're kind of coming out of COVID now, so we'll have 5 choirs. Yeah, they can go to the website.
And online as well. That's super. Was there anything else that you wanted to chat about?
At UVic, we're working on a number of different grant proposals right now. We're hoping to actually look at the sort of the underlying neurostimulation that happens when people sing in a group versus singing solo. We know that we can use some of the different imaging equipment that's available to demonstrate that. And my colleague, Dr. Stuart McDonald, has done a preliminary pilot and showed that different parts of the brain are triggered when you sing socially versus singing alone. And he wants to explore that further. And I'm really interested, again, in looking at this idea of social prescription and how we can partner to create more dementia inclusive kinds of programs like Voices in Motion.
Well, our theme this fall, I should tell you, our theme for this season is So Happy Together. Every concert has a theme, and this theme is So Happy Together.
I want to thank Debra and Erica so much for coming on the podcast today and sharing of their work and passions. If you would like to learn more about Voices in Motion, please find your way to their website at https://voicesinmotionchoirs.org/. To find out more about Seniors Serving Seniors and the services we provide free of charge to all seniors in the Greater Victoria area, please visit https://sssbc.org/. But that's all from us for this episode. Look for part 2, where we will be hearing from Dr. Stuart McDonald, Associate Professor of Lifespan Development and Aging at the University of Victoria. Thank you and have a great day.